Okay, here's today's Farmall F20 update. As you can see, I've made a little bit of progress on putting the motor back together. I've installed the timing gears and the cam, and I've got the governor plate on the front, and I've got the bell housing on, and of course the rear cover there. And in the end of the crankshaft, there's the remainder of a bearing in there. That's just the outer shell. I've got to get that out of there so I can replace the bearing. And I need to do that before I put the flywheel on. But hopefully I can get that thing out. It's been a bear so far, but I'll keep working at it till I do. Now I've got all 4 pistons in, of course, and they're not connected. They're just in here loose. And the reason I did that is because when I put on the flywheel, there's going to be some shock to the crankshaft and you know, little vibrations and probably some hitting with the hammer, and I didn't want those connecting rods to be absorbing any of that shock, so I decided just to leave them off until the flywheel gets installed. Now I did run into a problem when I was installing the cam gear here and trying to pay attention to lining up the timing marks. I wasn't paying attention, and I turned the crank a little bit, and I happened to push up the 2 outboard pistons right out of the sleeves. Now that's no big deal, and of course I don't know if you know, but the pistons on an F20 block will not come out the top of the sleeves if you have the rods attached. So you have 2 choices. Either remove the rings and pull everything down, reinstall the rings, and then put the piston back in the sleeve, or you can hunt around for a ring slipper and get those rings compressed and push them back into the hole from the top. Now I didn't want to have any extra work, so I decided that it would be best to put them back in from the top. Now also, I didn't have the right size ring slipper, so I recalled back in my days of working on British motorcycles and came up with that. Now that's what we used to use to put in the rings and the pistons on the old British bikes. It's just an ordinary worm clamp, kind of oversized, and what you do is it works just like a ring slipper. You put it in around the rings and tighten it up to compress them, and then once you get it all compressed, then you just tap on the top of the piston with a I use the wooden hammer handle and just slid them right back down in. Now sometimes if you don't have a big enough worm clamp, you can actually put 2 or even 3 or 4 together until it makes it big enough to go around the piston and the rings and get them compressed. One works better naturally, but the others will work if you put them together. But I just wanted to show that in case someone else ran into the problem and didn't have a ring slipper. They can go find an oversized worm clamp or put several together. But all in all, I had a fairly productive day, and hopefully in the next day or 2 I can get that flywheel installed and that bearing replaced. That way when I have help this weekend, a friend of mine is going to come over and help me put the main bearings and the connecting rod, get all those shims lined up and in there properly, and then I'll have the thing pretty much put back together. I can actually maybe even install it into the frame. But that's today's update, and hopefully I can keep on going.